Hello, Dawn Moore, Allegiance Title Company. On several occasions I have been asked, how soon does a buyer have to deposit the earnest money with the title company after execution of the contract? Does the buyer have the same 2-day period to deliver the earnest money to the title company as he does to deliver the option check to the seller? The earnest money paragraph does not allow for the 2 days. It states, upon execution of this contract, the buyer shall deposit, and then it goes on to state that if the buyer fails to deposit the earnest money as required by this contract, buyer will be in default. Well, does this mean that exactly upon execution of the contract, the buyer must deposit the earnest money with the title company? In my opinion, what this means is, if the buyer has not deposited the earnest money immediately upon execution of the contract, then between the time of execution of the contract and deposit of the earnest money with the title company, the buyer is technically in default. However, there is no language in the earnest money paragraph that states time is of the essence, which is legal language required to make the deadlines firm and the consequences thereof automatic. It has always been my opinion that without time is of the essence language in a particular paragraph, if a party is in default, then the non-defaulting party must give notice to the defaulting party of the default and give them a reasonable time to cure. And then we actually find under your License Act, particularly under Rule Section 535, 159, subparagraph I, that actually gives a reasonable time to deposit the earnest money. That rule under your License Act states that the reasonable time in which to deposit the earnest money is by the close of the second business day after execution of the contract by the parties, unless the parties agree otherwise in writing. My answer to your question then is, deposit the earnest money by the close of the second business day after execution of the contract by all parties, and the seller will not be able to hold the buyer in default so as to move to his next contract. I hope this video has answered your question and that of your clients. I have heard these tips of the week have been valuable to agents, their customers, and their colleagues. If you have something you would like me to address in this tip of the week, please send me your idea at tipoftheweek@allegiancetitle.com. And for your next closing, bring it to Allegiance Title Company. We want to be your resource for results. Thank you.